Dialysis review for February 14th, 2023. It's Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, people. So today I came in at 79.9, which means I put on 9.4. So what I've been trying to do is put on muscle, because I've never been able to do that in 10 years on dialysis. And as you've probably noticed in the previous videos, I've been succeeding in that effect. So yesterday I went to the gym and I did a lot of leg work. So even when I woke up this morning, my legs were like hoss and full of the extra fluid, and they were holding on to like all the nutrients. I was like, it usually goes down a little bit, but it didn't. And so I went in and I tried to take off 65, which it's like a normal. It's very high, but it's kind of normal for me. And I thought that the fluid would stay on hard in the areas where I did workouts, because my body's trying to hold on to those nutrients. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't get any cramps. I asked for like 150 shot of saline at about 1 hour and 17 minutes left. Because like the legs where I did the workout, they were starting to act like they were running out of electrolytes. So I was feeling the nerves jumping in there. So before a cramp would happen, I asked for a little saline. And so after I got the saline, a little while went by and I started to do my lean back to get my blood pressure to come down. And instead of feeling the weird feeling that I can't explain in my leg, I don't know if I talked to that about that, but I'll make a video about it later. Instead of feeling that weird feeling, I started to feel a cramp develop right where that blood flow feeling, that's what I think it is now, blood flow, usually is. My blood pressure did come down though, but there's something happening in my left leg when I dip my head back, and it lowers my blood pressure. So instead of continuing to do that, I got the cramp, so I stopped, and then the cramp subsided. And I was like, all right. And I did a little massage work on my leg, and then I stretched out the leg a little bit, and I was fine. And then closer towards the end, like 15 minutes later, I started to get the nerves jumping in the areas where I did the exercise. So I cut the treatment short, an hour short. I ended up pulling, the machine said I pulled 47.05. And then I weighed myself in the end, and I was 79.4, which means that I pulled 5.5. I pulled 5.5, a whole like half a liter more than the machine said. So I just wanted to express that those factoids about trying to build muscle. And another thing, another thing about my fluid gain is that it was mostly food. I didn't drink a lot of fluids. That's why I was very surprised. I ate like a whole lot of fibrous foods and a whole lot of meat because I'm trying to put on muscles. So all that fiber that comes out the way it came in, is sitting in my gut, weighing me down. And all that meat that hasn't come out yet is sitting in my gut, weighing me down. So I think 5.5 is a really good pull for the day. And also, it leaves me left me at 79 or 74 point something, which is very high. But depending on how much muscle I'm going to put on in the next couple of days, my dry weight has been inching up. Like I said, it was like the new dry weight's like 71.5. But with the workout added, the dry weight is dramatically jumping up, and my body's like really hoarding all my nutrients and fluids in order to work on those damaged areas that just to build the muscle. So yeah, that's that's enough of that. That's what actually happened today. I want to say something else about the knowledge of the medical professionals, because I saw the doctor today, and they make all these assumptions about you based on their template of what's supposed to be happening, but it makes them terribly misinformed. If he knew what I've been pulling for the last, month and a half through my homelessness, he wouldn't have been surprised to see me pulling 6 liters. He also didn't check the machine, and he didn't see that I started at 65 and I brought it down to 62, and then I brought it down to 6,000. And he doesn't know anything about what I've been doing, but they come in with their medical professional bravado and they make these decisions because it's what they've been trained to do. And that is detrimental to the patient, because we are all very different and we have to treat ourselves as such, because they are going to treat you like their template, which is for a 40-year-old white male, no matter who you are. So I just wanted to say a little bit about that. Like, I feel like the nurse that I work with, the one that I like, knows much more about me and has much more relevant information about what I'm doing here than the doctor. And he shows up, once a month, twice a month. And also, I can see the other technicians learning from what I've been doing because they've been able to see it. So, they even have more information, even some of them that kind of disregard it and don't learn as much. But a lot of people are fact resistant nowadays, but even they are more knowledgeable than the doctor, and he's making all the crazy decisions. So that's another systemic problem in the dialysis industry that we have to deal with as patients. And so I just wanted to put that out there into the world and let y'all know that I'm ducking and covering and making sure I'm doing what I got to do with these behaviors of mine in order to keep moving forward. So even though my numbers, according to the template, are damaged, they are not. There is a reason for why I've held on to this fluid, and I'm going to go and work on other muscle groups in my body today. And I'm going to come in and my weight is probably going to be a little higher, but it's going to be because of the food that I put on and not the fluid. I'm going to be very meticulous about what I eat and drink, just water, except for, when I have low blood sugar and I have to eat or drink something that's like high fructose corn syrup. I'm going to segue from that and say one more thing about type 1 diabetes. The other day, it was a few nights ago. It's 5 nights ago, I think. I woke up in the middle of the night shaking and shivering, hardcore shaking and shivering, and my blood sugar was 250, and I had physical indicators in my body that was telling me that my blood sugar was going down fast, and it was already low. So I was very confused by seeing my blood sugar at 250. So I checked it again 5 minutes later. It's at 230. I'm like, oh, it is going down fast, but it's not low yet. So I started drinking my pineapple juice. I started eating, what else was I eating? Some oats, these oat bars, dry oat bars, because I'm always trying to dry up the extra fluid by eating dry oats, which works very well, actually. But my blood sugar wouldn't stop going down. And the crazy, terrible feeling of shivering and shaking and being cold was new. And that was a new one on me. And the only thing that I can liken it to is a dope sick heroin addict. I feel like that was withdrawal symptoms from the high fructose corn syrup that I had been avoiding. And once my insulin got into my body and started working on the sugars, it's just tearing through the sugars and going down. It wouldn't stop going down until I drank some Pepsi. I drank about a cup and a half of Pepsi, and immediately my body temperature started to go back up, and my blood sugar started to raise up a little bit, and all the shivering started to subside. So I had to drink another cup of Pepsi because like the blood sugar wasn't coming up fast enough. And after that, I laid there for about 30 minutes and waited for the shivering to stop, and it stopped. And I started to feel warm again. I was under a blanket. I couldn't even get any warmth. And my blood sugar went up to about 380 and over the next hour. And I felt like shit all the rest of the night, but I was able to sleep. And I was able to stop that glucose reaction that I was dealing with. Man, that was crazy. My blood sugar never even got under 233, and I had all those symptoms, and I can only say that I was withdrawing from the high fructose corn syrup. Because everything went back to normal once I drank that Pepsi. Even going into the next day, like my blood sugars were more predictable. They were more they were stable, and I held on to that 380. And I didn't eat any sugar or eat anything until I felt better the next day. And it came down to about 333 under the natural reaction of the Lantus that I took in the morning. So at about 9 o'clock in the morning, it was like 333. And I'm like, man, if I'm going to get past this crazy reaction, I'm going to need to cut out high fructose corn syrup and lower the amount of insulin that I take accordingly. Because if I take my regular amount of insulin without the high fructose corn syrup, the insulin just rages through my blood sugar, and I get the crazy feeling. Like, I got to avoid that withdrawal type shakiness too. I haven't had it since then, and I just want to put that out there and let y'all know that happened. So y'all have a good Valentine's Day, and that's the end of the video. Have a good day.